Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the weekly meditation challenge. This is the last week of our series in just addressing absolute bodhicitta, some of the teachings around our own wisdom mind and how we can manifest that wisdom mind and maintain it. And then starting next week, we get into the relative bodhicitta work, the relative or everyday aspects of how do we manifest compassion on the spot. But this week's slogan is in post meditation, be a child of illusion, which does not mean when you stop meditating, go be a magician. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about in meditation, there are moments where you might glimpse that things are not so solid and real. For example, you're sitting there and you are living out a really big fantasy about what a jerk that person is at work and exactly how you're going to tell them off and how everyone's going to see what a jerk they are and what a hero you're going to be. And then you realize that that's not actually what's going on at all, and you come back to the breath. That giant world that your mind created, not real. So this particular slogan says, in post-meditation, let's see if we can maintain some of that ability to not hold everything as so solid and real. Let's be a child of illusion. Let's start to see some of the illusory aspects of our world. So when our partner snaps at us, we might say, oh, it's about me, it's me, and not actually realize that there's stuff going on with them and that there's a lot more going on in our world than we might originally have noticed. So we have to be willing to look at some of the ways that we solidify our world and question, is that so? Is that actually the case? So this is, once again, a little bit ephemeral, this particular practice, but I wanted to rely on some teachings by Acharya Emeritus Judy Leaf, a teacher in the Shambhala tradition. She actually said, quote, once you embark on the meditative path, once you are called a practitioner, everything you do should be seen as practice. The problem is that this could be taken a very heavy-handed way, which would cloud ordinary activities with a pall of earnestness. It can be taken in an overly precious way in which everything takes on deep import and a quality of icky religiosity. The trick is to maintain an attitude of practice and at the same time be light and ordinary. So what I'm saying here is when we leave our meditation practice, we don't immediately say, oh, I've got to always maintain meditative mind. I've got to always be mindful of every single activity, and if I don't, I'm not doing the practice right. And we don't get too airy-fairy about it and just say, whatever, who cares if I step in front of traffic because the car is just made up of molecules and I'm just made up of molecules. That's not helpful either. What we're doing is just noticing how we personally solidify our world. So when a strong emotion comes up and it feels very real and very stuck, it takes over our body and we start to ball up our fists and clench our arms to our sides and shrug our shoulders up. That's us making an emotion, something very ephemeral, very real, very physical. We spin out a lot of storylines so we can actually perpetuate this emotion and keep it going for a long time, as opposed to just saying, oh, it's an emotion. This is not a big deal. So there's something like when we clench up and we're paralyzed by the emotion, it's just asking ourselves, is this really need to be the case? Can I actually apply my meditative mind? Can I just relax a little bit and realize that the emotional state or what else is going on with this other person is actually quite ephemeral and impermanent and not actually as solid and real as I might have originally thought. So it's bringing our meditative mind into the post-meditation world, which is a good transition as we start next week with the relative bodhicitta practices, which are really fun. Not that in post-meditation, be a child of illusion isn't fun. I think it's just a little, if you get a little confused by some of the absolute bodhicitta slogans, I'm not surprised, and I hope I've done an okay job in explaining them. So this week's challenge, though, is that once a day, when you notice that you are getting really solid around a storyline, a strong emotion, a fixed opinion, whatever it is, drop the storyline around it. Just ask yourself, is that so? See if you can bring your meditative mind to that particular thing and allow yourself to see some of the empty aspect of it. The fact that it is not as inherently real and solid as we might have originally suspected. So whenever things get really solid, once a day, drop the storyline. Just see if you can ask yourself some questions like, is this so? Is this actually the case? And see if your mind is able to relax a little bit, ideally into its wisdom. Okay, good luck. Happy to answer any questions that you have on the Facebook group. And again, looking forward to seeing so many of you out in Colorado for the week-long retreat this March. Hope to see you soon, and if not there, I'll see you here and on the Facebook group.